I had a lot of truck drivers ask me about this new domicile rule that's coming up and what the differences are, who this affects and who this does not affect. And so first off, I want to say who it does not affect. So Canada and Mexico are not going to be affected by this new rule. Why? Because they are a part of an existing trade agreement with America. And because of those provisions, they will be exempt. You know, when you're talking about non-domicile CDLs, basically what Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy has done is he has enforced stricter rules. And so he's basically stating that, hey, look, we need more proof than a work permit. So there are over 200,000 truck drivers that they state that are in America driving now that have non-domicile CDLs for whatever the case be from the states that they got it from. Starting on Monday, the rule has changed and now is stricter. And because of that, they believe that over 194,000 non-domicile CDL holders in the next 2 years or when their next renewal is will not pass the requirements. And so, you know, I just want to talk about what those things are, why it's important, and give you a better understanding of how this works and how it's not a problem that is going to be fixed just overnight, but it does weed out the players that America deems to be unsafe drivers. What's going on, Mutha truckers? So we had this whopping news this weekend and people are excited about this, but they're wondering what does this actually mean and how does this help the trucking industry? And so I want to give you guys some key points here and so that you guys have all the correct information. So it is stated that there are over roughly around 200,000 non-domicile CDL holders in the US. And basically FMCSA has said that there's additional 20,000 non-domiciled commercial learner permits as well. If we just group it as a whole, as of now, they state that there's roughly around 200,000 non-domicile CDLs. And from that, they estimate that roughly 194,000 of those non-domicile CDLs under this new rule over the next 2 years, as their license come up for renewal, they will fail to meet the stricter requirements that Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy has put in place that will start on Monday. They state that this group represents approximately about 5% of the interstate CDL holders. Now, how big is 5%? Well, as you can see here, Secretary of Transportation's PowerPoint, he stated that after doing investigation, doing audits, and also on these 3 accidents right here, this is where they came to a conclusion about safety on our roads. So the stricter criteria for the new FMCSA rule for non-domicile CDL holders significantly tightens who is eligible to get or renew a commercial driver's license if they're not a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. So here's the breakdown on this. I want to give you guys the old rule versus what Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy is proposing now. So basically, under the old rule, some states allow non-citizens to obtain a non-domicile CDL with just a work permit or employment authorization document, which is called an EAD. So under the new rule, only certain employment-based visa holders can qualify. So here's an example of this, right? H-2A, which is temporary agricultural workers, H-2B, non-agricultural season workers, E-2, investor visas, and also TN, so NAFTA professionals from Mexico, Canada, though they are mostly unaffected due to reciprocity. So to simplify, basically, you must be legally authorized to work in the U.S. and you just can't have general work permit, EAD, and is no longer enough to qualify you. The number 2 thing is mandatory safe system checks. So all states must verify the applicant's legal status through the federal SAFE system, systematic alien verification for entitlements. States must deny or revoke CDLs if SAFE cannot confirm lawful presence and work authorizations. Number 3, right, is you have to have proof of employment connection. So applicants must now show a direct connection between their visas and the employer they'll be driving for. States must collect and retain documentation proving the applicant's work authorization is tied to an eligible visa employing job. Number 4, in-person license renewals only. So CDL or CLP holders must appear in person at the DMV to renew. No online renewals or mail-in extensions are allowed for non-domicile CDLs. Number 5, Non-domiciled CDLs and CLPs cannot be valid beyond the expiration date of the visa or work authorization. So licenses may be revoked immediately if the underlying legal status expires or is found invalid. So overall, when these 200,000 drivers basically go up for their renewal, majority of them, because all they had was a work permit, that's not going to be enough to get the job done, and they're going to lose their ability to drive a truck in America.
Critical issue, important issue in regard to the safety of our roadways. Because we have a government system designed to keep American families on the road safe, but that system has been compromised. I'm talking about non-domiciled commercial driver's licenses that are issued across the country. So in plain English, this is a license to operate a massive 80,000-pound truck that's being issued to foreign drivers who are not U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents. The process for issuing these licenses is absolutely 100% broken. It has become a threat to public safety, and it is a national emergency that requires action right now. This isn't fear-mongering. This is a serious business that entails American families and their lives. So this year alone, a series of horrific fatal crashes have been caused by dangerous non-domiciled CDL drivers. So I want to go through a couple of examples. I'll pull the first one up here. On March 14th in Texas, a truck driver failed to brake and crashed into a long line of traffic. This caused a 17-vehicle pileup that killed 5 people, including 2 children, and 11 were hospitalized. A post-crash investigation revealed a history of unsafe lane changes, ignoring traffic signs, and multiple violations of hour of service rules. I want to go to slide 2 here. On May 6th, in Alabama, a driver with less than 6 weeks of experience slammed his tractor and trailer into 4 vehicles stopped at a red light. He killed 2 people and he injured 4. He had previously failed his skills test for speeding in his skills test. The crash occurred on just his 3rd day of employment with his carrier. And my third example, this of course was the fatal car crash in Florida earlier this summer, and many in the media had reported on that. On August 12th, the driver who had attempted an unauthorized U-turn on the Florida Turnpike caused this crash. It caused a minivan to crash into his trailer, killing 3 people. The driver had a prior speeding ticket and was non-proficient in English. He had previously been issued a CDL improperly by the state of Washington. He now faces multiple counts of vehicular homicide and manslaughter. So again, in each of these tragedies, the drivers were non-domiciled. We have an obligation to keep the American people safe, and that requires action today. That's why under President Trump's leadership, we have launched a nationwide audit of non-domiciled CDLs to get to the bottom of what we think is causing this crisis.